Okay, so this is notes for Thursday, November 19th for Algebra 2. And we're going to talk about exponents because we're starting a polynomial unit. So there's some properties of exponents that you probably intuitively know, but we're just going to go over them. So the first one is the product. If you have two things that are multiplied with the same base, like for instance x to the m and x to the n, if they are multiplied together, then you add their exponents. So it would be like x to the m plus n. So for instance, if I had x squared times x cubed, this would be 2x's for x squared, 3x's for x cubed, so in total it's x to the 5. That's why we add them. Alright, the next one you can have is the power of exponents. So if you had like x to the m raised to the n power, then you multiply their exponents, x to the m times n. If you had x to the m and y to the k raised to the n, then everybody gets the n. So it'd be x to the m times n and y to the k n. So let's see what that would look like if I did with variables. So if I said, for instance, x to the 5 squared, that would be, I'd have x to the 5 listed twice, and then our previous rule just told me I added them, so x to the 5, x to the 5, that's 10. If I had something over here, it'd be like x to the 5 y cubed, maybe to the second. Then it would be listed twice each time, so either x to the 10 and y to the 6. X to the 10, y to the 6. Alright, next up I might have, let's see, the negative exponent. So negative exponents. Negative exponents move something into the denominator. So x to the negative m would be 1 over x to the positive m. If you had like x to the negative 5, that would be 1 over x to the 5. You could also have, let's say I had 1 over x to the negative 3. That moves it up and makes it positive. That's x to the positive 3. That's the negative rule. The next rule is the 0 rule. Anything to the 0 is just 1. Even if it was like a huge thing, like x cubed y to the second, w to the 100. If this whole thing was to the 0, then it would just be 1. The quotient rule, you divide things with a fraction. Okay, I guess I'm out of room. Quotient. X to the m over x to the n, you just subtract the exponents. So for instance, x to the 100 over x to the 50, well, let's do x to the 5. If I have 100 x's in the numerator and 5 in the denominator, then I have 95 in the top, because I can cross off 5. And the last one is if you have a power of a quotient, and that's not going to let me right over here. Hold on, let me find a space to write. Whoa, is the power rule of a quotient. So if you had power of quotient, if you had something like x over y to the m, then they would both get the m. So an example of that would be like if I had x squared over y to the 3, this is to the 5th power, then they would both get the 5. I'd have x squared 5 times and y cubed 5 times. So then you would multiply. That would be x to the 10 over y to the 15. I'm going to do some examples in the next video.